My son's swim coach kept singling him out at practice. I made one phone call that ended his career. My son Tyler joined the neighborhood swim team in June. 9 years old, decent backstroke, loved being in the water. His coach was this guy named Rick Donovan, former college swimmer, ran the program for 3 years. Tall, loud voice, always wearing those mirrored sunglasses even indoors. First week went fine. Tyler came home talking about flip turns and relay teams, showing me the proper hand position for freestyle at the dinner table. Then the corrections started. Rick would stop practice to point out Tyler's form in front of everyone. Not helpful coaching, more like, look what Tyler's doing wrong again. He'd make Tyler get out of the pool and demonstrate while explaining every mistake. Other kids doing the exact same stroke? Nothing, just Tyler. Every single practice, Tyler mentioned it once. I figured maybe Rick was pushing him harder because he saw potential. Coaches do that sometimes, right? Focus extra attention on kids who show promise. But then Tyler started faking stomach aches before practice. He'd sit in the car and wouldn't get out. This kid who'd begged me for swim team all spring, who'd counted down the days until tryouts, was suddenly terrified of it. I showed up early one day and watched through the chain link fence. Rick made Tyler demonstrate a dive for the team, then spent 5 minutes explaining everything wrong with it while the other kids giggled and whispered. Tyler's face was bright red, his shoulders were hunched. He looked like he wanted to disappear into the pool deck. After practice, I pulled Rick aside and asked if there was an issue with Tyler. He got defensive immediately, said Tyler needed tougher skin if he wanted to improve, that swimming was a competitive sport and he didn't have time to coddle sensitive kids. I asked why Tyler seemed to be the only one getting publicly corrected for mistakes everyone was making. Rick's jaw tightened. He said maybe I should focus on parenting instead of questioning his coaching methods, then walked away before I could respond. I went home and called my neighbor Val. She's been on the pool board for 6 years, knows everything that happens at that facility. Casual conversation at first. I mentioned Tyler was struggling with confidence, asked if other parents had ever said anything about Rick's coaching style. Long pause on the other end. Then Val said quietly, wait, is Tyler the one Rick keeps singling out at practice? Turns out she'd heard complaints from 2 other families last season. Both quietly pulled their kids mid-season. The board never followed up because Rick's teams won meets. That's when I decided to document everything. I started showing up to every practice with my phone. I'd stand by the fence and record. I filmed Rick stopping Tyler mid-lap to criticize his breathing technique. Filmed other kids doing identical strokes with 0 feedback. Filmed Rick making Tyler sit out of a relay race until he learned proper technique, while a kid who'd false started twice in the same practice got to swim. Filmed him making Tyler apologize to the team for wasting everyone's time when he asked a question about flip turns. After 2 weeks, I had 12 videos with clear timestamps and dates. I sent them to Val in a single email with a brief description of each incident. She forwarded them to the entire pool board that same night. The next morning, Rick called me screaming, said I was harassing him, that he'd been coaching for years without complaints, that I was jeopardizing his reputation. I told him those other families didn't document it like I did. He hung up. The board held an emergency meeting 3 days later. Rick showed up in a suit, came prepared with a whole speech about helicopter parents and participation trophy culture. He claimed I was a vindictive parent with a grudge because Tyler wasn't the star of the team. Then, Val pulled up the emails from last season on her laptop, the complaints that were never addressed, the families who'd asked for refunds. She connected her laptop to the projector and played my videos, all 12 of them. The room went completely silent except for Rick's voice coming through the speakers. One board member asked Rick to explain why Tyler was being treated differently than other swimmers. Rick said he pushed kids who needed it, that it was his coaching philosophy. Another board member, a lawyer named Tom, asked why he didn't push the other kids who had objectively worse technique in the videos. Rick opened his mouth, closed it, said Tyler's attitude required correction. Tom asked what attitude. Rick had no answer. Parents started coming forward during the meeting. Turns out Rick had a pattern going back 3 seasons of picking one kid each year to target. Always the quieter ones, the ones who wouldn't fight back or cause problems. 5 families confirmed similar experiences, said they'd thought it was just their kid, didn't realize it was a pattern. The board offered Rick the chance to resign quietly. He refused and threatened to sue. So they voted unanimously to terminate him immediately and ban him from all league facilities. Tyler came home from his first practice with the new coach last week, holding a blue ribbon from the backstroke finals, 2nd place out of 32 kids, grinning so wide I thought his face might split in half.